That is right. It is time to power it up because this is the June 2025 Power Platform Community Call. Today is June 18th. I am your humble host along with Shane Young. My name is David Warner from Quizzitive, and Shane Young, the one and only Shane Young. Shane, how are you doing today?
I'm lovely, David. Always a pleasure to get to hang out with you, listen to you and your fancy sound effects, host this amazing call. We get to hear from wonderful people.
Yes, yes, absolutely. Thank you for joining me, Shane. And so what is our agenda for today, everybody? We're going to talk about some community resources, some samples, some news and events. Of course, we're going to have everybody's favorite time. That is that picture time. So get those fantastic faces ready. And then we've got three fantastic, amazing presentations for the day. Valentin's going to talk to us about Environment Settings Enforcer. And then Kamil, his first time presenting on the call, everybody, so we want to make sure we show him lots of love. He is going to talk about Agentic AI automation platform built on Power Platform and Semantic Kernel. That is a mouthful, so we are excited to see all about it. And then Manish is back with us. He's going to talk about modern technique to store and rotate application password and Power Automate desktop. So very, very cool. But first, let's talk about a ton of resources that are available to each and every single one of you. These are resources that are 100% free. They are there for you to take advantage of and to utilize to help make your journey in the Power Platform and the greater Microsoft ecosystem even better. We'll start with our Microsoft Community Learning videos. This is a YouTube channel where we break all the rules in all the right places. YouTube is always sending us emails saying, you know, your metrics might be better if you post less. And we're like, yep. We want to post more because we want to make sure that we're showcasing all the amazing work that you all are doing in the community. We also have our LinkedIn page for discussions and updates. We've got our open source tooling. Of course, all of our sample galleries that would not be possible without all of you. We'll talk more about that later, but they span the spectrum of Teams, SVFX, Power Platform, list formatting, and the list goes on and on. Now, you don't need to remember every single one of these URLs, just one, aka, well, maybe two, aka.ms/community/home. Or our fancy top-level domain, community.ms, will take you there as well. Now, as you're watching today, you may think, hey, these are really great demos, and I got some cool stuff to show off. Or you may think, I'd love to share some stuff, but does anybody really want to see it? We all want to see it, so we invite you to please request to present because everyone is welcome. And, I mean, it doesn't need to be a flux capacitor, right, Shane? I mean, we're not looking for time travel.
No, right? Like if you know it, you figured it out, you've got something cool, share it. And also, we always remind people, sometimes people are like, well, someone else has already figured it out. Some idiot named Shane on YouTube's already talked about this. It doesn't matter. You have new ways of presenting it. You have new angles, updates. You might be the one that makes it click for someone else. So if you've got stuff you want to share, please, please, please join us and be a presenter.
100%. Absolutely. Thanks, Shane. Don't overthink it. If you find value in it, I guarantee someone else will find value in it as well. So don't be afraid. Reach out. Let us know. We absolutely can empower you. We can also buddy up with you. If you need that support, just let us know. We're here to support you, and we want to make sure that everyone is involved. So don't overthink it. Let's collaborate together. Now, we've also got some Power Platform samples and badges we want to talk about. Kate is out at EPPC enjoying herself with some of our other friends from the community. So we want to say thank you to all of our submitters and contributors for these samples. Kinga, Nadi, Manish, hey, I know that guy. He's going to be presenting today. Jan and Steve, these are all a bunch of samples and snippets that are contributed by many of you, amongst all the other things that you are contributing. So we really want to say thank you. These are amazing. Absolutely, Kate's doing a great job in helping manage these repos. So don't be afraid if you've created something, no matter how small or big, reach out, let us know. We'd love to see it into these repos and they will help someone else. Now, if you're thinking, I do have something to share, but I really don't understand that GitHub, that hub of gits, that GitHub hubs, that labyrinth of confusion that uses terms like blame and fork and pull request. I don't want to push or pull anybody around. Hey, don't worry. Sharing is Caring is here to provide you guidance. Now, what is it exactly? It is hands-on sessions where we join live Teams calls together and we walk through things like, hey, what is a pull request within GitHub? How do you submit samples into the community? The next one is next Monday, June 23rd. You still have time to register. It is absolutely free. It is a safe space opportunity. And what does that mean? It means that we don't record any of this. It means that we join the live team call. We don't smash that record button like we do on these community calls. Why? Because we want you to be free to ask any and all questions without fear of it going on record. Because we all know that if no one else is asking a question and we have a question, then we start thinking, should I ask the question? No one else asked the question. Maybe it's a dumb question. I'm not going to ask the question and I'm never going to get an answer. We don't want that. We want you to ask the questions and get answers, and that's how we learn together. So ak.ms/sharing is caring is the place. Now, we also want to make sure that you are recognized for the amazing work that you are doing, and that is where our community recognition program comes in. So we are renewed with Credly. We've got those awesome badges like Prompt Pro, Snippet Sorcerer, Modern Search. We've got the React controls and property controls. We've also got the new list formatting, and we're still in the Star Wars campaign. But that's not all. We've got superhero season coming up. So this is one of those new preview badges that are going to be coming up for July, August, September, and October. There is going to be 5 total badges for you to be able to try to chase. This will be a bonus one, the Porcupine Rises. Parker is here to appreciate and show all the work that you're doing. So this will be a bonus one. It's going to be a lot of fun. Stay tuned. We've got even more coming out, more campaigns. And, of course, a lot of our annual ones like the Season of Getting and Slice of Samples will all be coming out at the end of the year. Absolutely free of charge. Just need you to opt in, ak.ms/community/recognition. And I will say, as Shane said in the chat, David loves his badge. I do, but so does Credly, by the way. They are doing a case study on our community because they said that we have built a best-in-class community recognition program, unlike any other. So that's pretty awesome, and it's only because of all the work that you are doing. So we absolutely want to say thank you, and we love you for all you're doing. This is our way of giving back. In fact, we do want to recognize all of our May contributors. These are all the folks that have contributed in May and opted into the recognition program. That's how we're able to kind of track the work that you're doing. So if you have contributed and you don't see your name here, then please make sure you get opted in or reach out, let me know. In fact, we had 2 pages. So snippets, I'll have it in my screenshot summary. We'll have it on the video. If you didn't get a screenshot, definitely get it because we want to recognize you and say thank you and share it on the webs. Let your managers know, your clients know you are making a difference and you are being recognized for it. So thank you all so much. Now, let's move into our shows and events. We got a lot of them. So, of course, right in the smack dab, I guess there's still time. If you're super fast, you can kind of get over to Vienna right now, right? That's going on right now. But we just want to recognize all of our amazing friends that are there and say, we hope you're having a great time. Bring us back a t-shirt, right? All right. TechCon is coming up next week in Seattle, along with other dates throughout the year in Atlanta and Dallas. Of course, PPPCC, whatever the name is now, Power Platform Community Conference in Vegas. We are super excited for that's coming up in October. And I know Shane will be there. I will be there. April will be there. A number of all of our friends will be there. So we're super excited for that. Check it out. Ignite is coming up in November. We've also got ESPC coming up in Dublin in December. And then they already announced ECS 2026 in Cologne, Germany next year. So we're excited. I think the call for tutorials just went open. So check that out and submit if you like. And of course, we've got a number of other community events that are going on. So we absolutely want to make sure we highlight this because the amount of effort and work that goes into running these on the community level is astounding. So we want to say thank you to all of you. These are some of them from communitydays.org. You can see many more. So please go support these if they're in your area. Some are in person, some are online, some are hybrid. However you can support them, please do, because it is a lot of work to put these on. And we want to say thank you to all those that do the extra effort to do that. So thank you. All right, let's get into the news desk. It is a news time. That's right. The more you know. We're going to start with notes from the field. Shane, you're going to be in the field next week, but you got notes ready for us.
And I really just enjoy having pictures of me and Buddy. That's the whole reason I do this slide every month, so I can just see me and Buddy. So just a couple ones here. One, attachment control drama. So if you did not see there was a period where the attachment control was broken. You could not copy it out of forms and use it in other ways, right? Primarily, people use that to do uploads. So that was broken. I fought tooth and nail. I'm sure it's all under NDA how much I fought with the product team about it, but they fixed what was broken. And not only did they fix what they were broken, but they also made another fix that had been broken for even longer, where that whole copy with code, the YAML copy code option, that is now supported for the attachment control. So that's a super big deal. We'll make using the attachment control for uploads better, easier, more flexible. So I just threw in the chat, the link to the video. It's a whopping 8-minute long, but very helpful there. So just heads up on the attachment control. The drama is over, thankfully, and it got better. The other one was I had the privilege of teaching Copilot Studio in a day yesterday. Very interesting to get to talk about that product and help people kind of get the light bulb going on with that one. The big thing I try to remind people when it comes to AI and agents especially, like it's real easy to start thinking about, the crazy overcomplicated agent that does all these crazy ideas you've always had. Let's not start there. Let's start with simple agents that come in and augment existing processes. Let's talk about keeping humans in the loop, to help validate, make sure the decisions are all there. So just as you're rolling into this AI world, like stop overthinking it, stop trying to think of these grandiose things, and let's stick with just some nice, tight, solve the problems. So there you go. Those are my 2 notes from the field. Hopefully that helps. And hopefully next month, maybe I'll update the picture of me and Buddy. He's now sitting in my office. So thank you.
Awesome. Thanks, Shane. All right, let's move over to News and Learn with the one and only April Dunham.
Thank you, David. So we have a lot of news this month. First, enhanced component properties are now generally available, so you can take full advantage of those in your production environments without worry there. We also have a new couple early access previews that you can get your hands on. So these were some capabilities that were announced at Build, and it's all about bringing that vibe coding experience to your Power Apps development. The first is generative pages. So this is actually the ability, what you're seeing in the screenshot there, to be able to put in a prompt, and it will build React code for you behind the scenes to build out fully customized pages inside of your model-driven apps there. The other is Code Apps, which is an early access preview as well that you can sign up for. And that's the other way around, where it's giving developers, or if you're building and writing code in your IDE, the ability to integrate with Power Apps there. So 2 interesting takes there on the whole vibe coding thing and bringing those experiences into Power Apps. The other on the Copilot Studio side is multi-agent orchestration and computer use agents, another bigger announcement there at Build that you can get your hands on there to be able to have like an agent call an agent. So really interesting kind of paradigm there where you can segment out your agents and kind of split them out to do really specific things. And then the other one that I wanted to talk about is Copilot Studio Estimator tool. So if you want to use Copilot Studio, or your business is evaluating it, but you're not exactly sure, hey, how many messages will all this take? What kind of usage will we see, and how much will that end up costing us? Well, I, along with the product team, built a tool for that. So if you go to aka.ms/MCS-estimator, that's a calculator that you can kind of run through and put in about how many users, what features you'll be using in your agent, and it will give you a total number of messages calculation, so you can get a good idea of what this is actually going to end up costing you in the long run there. And then finally, if you want to get your hands on some of these new capabilities announced at Build and run through some labs, we have a couple that you can go through. There's a Code Apps lab if you want to get started with that, and you're part of that early access preview on how to connect to Azure SQL. And for MCP, there's a Dataverse MCP lab that Daniel Laskowitz put together on the team there, which walks you through how to integrate with the new Dataverse MCP server. Really fun hands-on labs that you can walk through there yourself to get started.
Awesome, April. So the one that builds React, so you're saying that the agent reacts to your request for React? All right. Yes. Awesome. Very cool. All right. What time is it, everybody? It is picture time. So get your cameras turned on. I will move over the teams. I see Isabel there, and I'll shrink this up. All right. I see Natalie and Valentin. Excellent. Got Shane showing up. There's Craig. Manish, awesome. Love to see you all. April. Shane's fixing his hair. I already did mine when I was born. I guess I haven't had to fix it since. Yep. There's Greg. You see, he's shining it up. All right. Excellent. Let's get this in place, and we will turn that on. And come on. There we go. Let's move that over. And all right, everybody, just a couple more seconds. We're doing good on time. Shane is getting geared up, doing the dance, the community dance. Still got time if everybody wants to turn on a couple more of those cameras. I'm pretty sure the rows will dynamically grow. If not, we'll give it another second. Oh yeah, see, there we go. Boom, look at that. Awesome. Okay, let's do the countdown, everybody. Let's say 3, 2, 1. Got Buddy in there. All right, wave to the community. Great to see you all. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Love the smiles. Love the family. Love it all. Really great to see you all. Really appreciate everything you're doing. We would not have these opportunities without you. So really appreciate everything you're doing each and every day in the community. Great job. Okay, we'll get that shared out on the social interwebs. But for now, let's move into why we're all here, which is our amazing presenters of the day. We're going to start with Valentin on Environment Settings Enforcer. So my friend, if you would like to take over the screen, the floor is yours.
Sure. Thanks, David. Hi, everyone. Super happy to be here. Can you see my screen okay?
I can. Looks great.
Wonderful. So this setting enforcer solution came from a question I was asking myself a little bit over a year ago now, which was how can we as tenant administrators or Power Platform COEs manage environment settings at scale in a large organization? Now, we could do it via the Power Platform Admin Center, but it takes quite a few clicks to manage the environment settings of each environment, especially if you have hundreds of environments. And the system administrator of the environments are able to revert those settings to whatever they want. There's nothing stopping them from doing so. So that was the challenge. Now, since I released that environment setting enforcer solution, Microsoft released environment groups. Now, if you are one of these organizations with a premium license for all your users, yes, environment groups could be leveraged for something similar. There's two caveats to this. One is not all the environment settings can be managed, applied to an environment group. And the other issue that I find in our case is one environment cannot be added to several groups. You can't overlap groups together. And it's very likely, at least that's the case for us, we couldn't come up with one grouping strategy that would work for all the settings. Some settings we might want to apply to a certain group of environments, but some other settings for that same group might not apply to all the environments of that group. So it was not suited to what we were looking for. Now, luckily for us, when you change a setting from the Power Platform Admin Center, for most settings, they're actually saved in the organization table of that environment. So you have every setting in the PPAC is related to a column in that organization table. Now, it's not the case for all the settings, but for most of them. And so that's exactly what the environment settings enforcer leverages. You install that solution in an environment, and it allows you to create setting policy. You can think of them a little bit like DLP policies. You create a policy, you assign it to some environments, and then that policy is deployed to those environments. And it will update the organization table of all these target environments to set the settings as you want. Now, without further talk, I'm going to demo this. And first, let's go to the PPAC. In the demo target 1 environment, I'm at the setting page from the PPAC. And we're going to look at those two settings. I can enable or disable the preview models for AI Builder. Let's turn that on. And I can also enable the AI prompt. I'm not going to change it here, actually. I'm not going to click Save yet. Let's now look at the organization table of that same environment, and I've filtered two columns, one to enable the AI prompt, and the other one, you probably wouldn't guess it, but it's actually to enable the preview model of AI Builder. Now, those are turned off here, and they were turned off here. I'm going to enable AI Builder from the PPAC and click Save. And if now I refresh my organization table, I can see that this setting is now turned on. Let's do it. For the other one, I'm going to turn it on from the organization table. I'm going to wait for it to be saved. If I refresh the PPAC, those two settings should now be turned on. Let's just wait a second to confirm. Now, this was done via the interface, hundreds of environments, very cumbersome. How can we do this with the setting enforcer? The setting enforcer is composed of a few flows and a model-driven app. And that first page is about the setting options. So you have to add all the settings that you want to be able to control via your setting enforcers. When you add a new setting option, each setting option needs to be related to a column of the organization table. And so you do this via the logical name field. So what I will do if I wanted to create this manually, I will go into this column from the organization table. I will open the advanced options, find the logical name, and paste it in, paste it in here, and then set up the name, display name, description. The type is, there's two types of feed settings that are supported. One of them is integer. So for example, if you want to set the session timeout in the environment, you'll need to add a number. The other one is whether it's on or off on the environment. So in that case, it will be a isFitter enabled type. And then you can do this for all the columns you're interested in, but you might not want to do this manually for all those settings. So I have created a flow that will pre-populate about 20 or 21 of the most common settings. And when you run that flow, it will populate exactly all those setting options that I was showing here. You could also, of course, add custom other ones if you're interested in managing more settings. Once you have your setting options added, you need to set the configuration. The configuration is to say what value do you want for this setting before adding them to the DLP policy, to the setting policy. So I'm going to click new, and let's say we want to disable prompt, for example. I'm going to look for the prompt setting option, and I'm going to set it to no because I want to disable it. So the AI prompt enable is no, that will disable prompts. Great. Let's save and close and add a new one for the preview model. And we'll say disable AI preview. I will look for the AI builder setting, and I will also set it to no. Now I click save and close. I've got my two configurations added. I need now to create a policy and add those configurations to the policy. So I'll go to setting policy, create a new policy. I will say disable prompts and AI builder preview models. Priority is 1. So if you have several policies assigned to the same environments, there's an order in which they will be applied. So if they overlap on the settings, the last one will have the say on what's the setting value for that setting. You can set it to auto request. This means that it will be requested every day. Every day the policy will be deployed reactively. Or you could set it to no if you just want to ad hoc on one-off deploy that policy. I'm going to save it once. Add the two configuration we have created for our settings to disable prompt and the AI preview models. And I'm going to now select environments. Now there's a dependency on the Reckitt to find a list of environment, but if you have a problem with this, please feel free to reach out via LinkedIn. I'll be really happy to show you how you can remove that dependency. Let's add 3 environments for this policy for the demo. I click add, and now I have my policy created with the setting configuration I want to update, and add my 3 environments that I want to have in scope of that policy. I can click on the deploy button. It's going to ask me a quick confirmation to say it will update those environment settings. Are you sure? There could be an impact. Let's click OK, we're sure. What it's doing is it's creating a row in my policy deployment table. And as it creates that row, there is a flow that will run that will check the configurations that we want to deploy, and it will update the deployed configuration field with the payload that will be sent to Dataverse to update the organization table of each of those environments. So it's using the logical name and the value we've defined. You can see the flow run history if you want to see the flow run and see exactly what happened. And at the same time, that flow will also create an individual row for each environment that you want to deploy the settings to. So that's the setting deployments table. If I go in here, it created 1 row per environment. So we can see demo target 1, 2, 3, the same policy, and is the same deployment. And creating a row in that table will trigger the flow that will actually update the organization table. So now it's all been succeeded. If I go back to my organization table and refresh, those 2 settings should be turned off. I can also refresh from the PPAC. And this is basically how you can use the settings enforcer to manage environment settings at scale in an organization. It's very quick to update. If you go back to that setting policy, remember set to auto request. It means that tomorrow it will run again in case the system admin changed the settings, it will be reverted back. And one more thing to mention is you might have some very clever sysadmin that want to set up their own automation to revert the settings back. you can use an environment variable in that solution so that it will run at a different time every day, so that they can't really plan exactly when that will be happening. So that's just in case you have this type of system admins. We do. So that's a little thing to make it a bit harder for them. Now, this solution is not perfect. There's a few limitations. First one is it's reactive only, unfortunately, meaning that it does not prevent the sysadmin from changing that setting. The second one, which is in my opinion the biggest one, I don't believe this is something that Microsoft supports. So there's no documentation saying, hey, if you change this setting, you can also change it via the organization table. Meaning that if you still decide to use it, you're responsible in the case if Microsoft changes their approach, changes the organization column, or what those settings do, you will be responsible in case something goes wrong. And yes, that structure can vary. And also some columns are not very specific and do not do exactly what it seems they do when you look at the name in the organization table. So it's all things to take into account. Now, if you would like to use this solution, I am sharing it on my blog, powertricks.io. You will find a bunch of articles there with some reusable tools that mainly centered around governance. And in each of these articles, so if we go into environment setting one, you will have a link to my GitHub repo where you can download it. And so feel free to check it out, powertricks.io. You have the unmanaged and the managed solution. And most of all, if you have any feedback, any ideas, any comment about any of those things or anything else, please let me know. It's always a pleasure to hear from the community. And a lot of the solutions were actually created based on some interactions I had with you guys. So big kudos to anyone who discussed those things with me. And I hope you will enjoy the solution. And that said, I should be just under my time, actually, my 12
You
minutes,
are under,
David.
my friend. Yeah, you are awesome. You're keeping us on track, Valentin. Thank you.
We have time for your little dance now.
That's right. Okay. Everybody get ready. Get on your feet. We're going to do a little calisthenics. All right. Thank you, Valentin. Very, very cool. Love it. I love the highlight of you building some stuff by way of collaborating with the community as well. Kamil, feel free to take on over the screen as I introduce you. But again, thank you, Valentin. Great, great job. I can't wait to have you back. Looking forward to your next demo. Excellent stuff. All right. So next up, we have Kamil, who is going to talk about Agentic AI automation platform built on Power Platform and Semantic Kernel. And again, this is Kamil's first presentation on the community call, everybody. So let's show them all that community appreciation and love that we can. Kamil, take it away.
Yeah. Hi, everyone. I'm Kamil Rithaler. I'm Intelligent Automation Platform Architect at Reckitt. You can reach out to me on LinkedIn. I'm very occasional blogger on my blog and author of Power Automate Tools extension in Chrome and Edge. Maybe some of you have used that before. And today I will talk about Agentic AI automation platform built on Power Platform and Semantic Kernel. So what is it? So what is the platform? So it's a solution for building multi-agent systems that harness the power of Power Platform to both create and operate AI agents efficiently. And why multi-agent? Why not just a single agent? Even though LLM getting better and better at following instruction, performing tasks when they are faced with long instruction or spanning across different domains, the performance drops significantly. That's why you should consider then create agents that are focused on a single task or are experts in their domain. And currently, there are two major approach to orchestrate them. Self-directed, we can think of it like a group chat. So for not well-defined or dynamic processes, article drafting, for example, when you have reviewer, reader, and researcher. So writer and researcher works collaboratively on an article, and then reviewer decides when they should stop and they reach the goal, or deterministic agentic workflows. And here it's just a process that agent is a part of. So you can guess where this is heading and why I'm bringing Power Platform and agentic workflows, because Power Automate is great at creating workflows and running them. Okay, and why did I build this? First of all, to experiment. At the time that I started working on this, there was not much flexibility in Copilot Studio, and I've been already working on some custom agents in Semantic Kernel. So then I thought, instead of just writing my instruction and plugins inside code or any other third-party solution that I'm not expert of, and it will be difficult to get onboarded in a big organization, I can use secure and known platform, which is Power Platform. So I decided to build a Power App. So then I can build agents and share with my colleagues and work on them together. And then I realized why not to use the connector ecosystem. So use flows to connect my agents with an enterprise data in the same way as Copilot Studio does. And then I thought, okay, so let's create a custom connector that would allow to run my agents inside Power Automate. So thanks to that, I can orchestrate them in a very flexible way. So I can run them in parallel, sequentially, or just use as a simple prompt. So thanks to that, I have a test ground to test all of the new concepts and shiny stuff in the AI area before they're getting implemented in commercial solutions like Copilot Studio or Azure AI Foundry agents. So for example, new cool model is released, I can very quickly test that on my own data. And the last but not least, it's a very cost-effective solution, because when you already have all your Power Platform licenses, then you just need a few things on the Azure side, and you can use the right model. So for a simple task, you can use smaller, cheaper models. It's not always the best idea to throw chunky O3 at a very simple task. Okay, and the architecture, I already said a couple times Semantic Kernel. It's a SDK that helps build agents and AI solution in all major programming languages. So you can focus on building those instead of learning APIs of each AI provider. And kernel memory from the very same team. This is a ready-to-use solution that you can just pull as a Docker container and have your RAG pipelines, so to process documents and make them ready to be used with LLMs. But starting from the very beginning. So there is a model-driven app where you can define agents, tools, knowledge sources. All of that is, of course, saved in Dataverse. And then the engine is a C# durable function with mentioned semantic kernel. That's why there's this small icon on the right top corner, which orchestrates everything. So it can trigger Power Automate flows, or it can be triggered by Power Automate flows or API calls. And also it can use external services via OpenAPI or MCP integration. That is also thanks to the semantic kernel wide library of the connectors. It can use many popular model providers, but in this case, we mainly use Azure AI Foundry. And of course, login and all the telemetry, AI metrics to keep track of the cost is stored in the application insights. And for today, I've prepared a very simple use case, contract review, where user uploads a contract to the repository, then the main agent does the initial review, extract key details and clauses, then saves that in the app, and handovers clauses analysis to specialized agent that is specialized only in this one simple task. And at the very end, agent summarizes the review and saves this in the app. So let's jump to the SharePoint first, as I will start the process, let it run in the background. Okay, so what it does, it starts this very, very simple Power Automate. So for a selector file, get properties, and pass it to agent. And then let's open the main app. So it's a model-driven app where I can define agents, processes, skills, knowledge sources. So these are these are building blocks of the solutions. So solutions is the same similar concept as in the Power Platform. So packages to keep all of the things organized. And actually, underneath each solution is a Power Platform solution created automatically. And also, each solution has own theme for easier access management. Okay, let's take our contract review example. Okay, and in a solution, we have agent group chats. I won't cover that today because it's a big topic itself. So this non-deterministic way of orchestrating agents. Knowledge sources. So knowledge sources I can define here, for example, SharePoint folder when I upload my files, and then they are processed by kernel memory and available for vector search. And skills. Skills are one of the crucial part here because there are tools that LLM can use, and there are few types of skills: Flow, OpenAPI, Prompt, MCP, and Native. If you select Flow, then it asks you when you create a new one if you want to select existing flow or create a new one. If you create a new one, it creates a flow based on a defined template that already uses some of the best practices to make it work efficiently. It's a HTTP trigger flow. When you define a request body as a JSON schema, it's a nice part because when you define it here and save the flow, it's automatically saved to the skills row, and then Semantic kernel knows what to pass to this flow, to what arguments needs to be passed to this flow. And here I have my clause by clause review. So skill that we can say make it multi-agent flow, because here the extracted clauses from the main agent are passed here, and for each of these clauses I run a contract clause analyst which reviews the clause against the company playbook. Okay, and agents, of course. So contract review assistant is the main agent in this flow. So simple stuff like name, descriptions, model to choose. And here I'm assigning the knowledge sources and skills, instructions, some canvas app to play around with and test the agent before publishing it. Here I have a full control of the instructions. And also each save produce a version, because of even a subtle change may make a huge difference in how the agent behaves. Okay, so let's check how our process is going on. Okay, so probably it finished. So in the monitoring tab, I have threads. Threads, let's say it's a chat window in Teams. So we can have multiple turns between you and agent. And here I have a single turn. It's high, so it should be this one. Okay. So this is the turn that was created when the initial throw ran. So we see when it started, when it ended, how long it took, what was the input, and what is the output. I can review all of the skills that were used. So first it got the contract content, converted it to Markdown, then use a think tool to note down the reasoning, save contract record, did the clause by clause analysis, and then updated the contract record we can go into this record and look what was the input and what was the output of skill run, so tool execution. Okay, but what is the output of this agent? So here I have a sample app, control review app, where this contract review is stored. So all of the key information was extracted, contract value was calculated because it's $50K over 2 years, so it sum up to this, and overall summary of the contract and each extracted clause. And as we can see, here is a clause with some issue, so we can check it and we see what was the exact text, review, and what is the proposed revision. Okay. And that's it. Thank you very much.
Awesome stuff, Kamil. Thank you so much. That is really cool. I love all the organization you put into this, the thought process. Kamil had some links in his slide deck that we included in the chat, so we'll also include that in the show notes for those that are watching on demand. Great job. Really appreciate it. Again, first time, excellent job. Really love it. Thank you for sharing that with the community. All right, Manish, you are up, my friend. Feel free to take on over the screen while I introduce you. Manish is going to talk about modern technique to store and rotate application passwords in Power Automate Desktop. And I see your screen. Slide looks great. Oh, slide looks great. Oh, yeah, there you go. Just taking care of stuff. And whenever you are ready.
Yes, I am ready.
Take it away.
So, hello, everyone. Thank you, Microsoft 365 Community Engagement Team, for giving me this opportunity and platform to share my experience. So I'm going to talk about modern technique to store and rotate application password in Power Automate for desktop. Before I begin, I would like to introduce myself. So my name is Manish Solanki, and I am an independent consultant with vast experience in specialize in designing and implementing solution using low-code tools, especially in Power Automate and Power Apps. So during this session, I will first cover the challenges in traditional method of managing application secret or password in RPA scenarios. Next, we will discuss about the modern approach, that is Azure Key Vault Credential, to overcome that challenge. Post that, I will cover the benefit and prerequisite for setting up Azure Key Vault Credential. Then we will jump on the hands-on session to cover the end-to-end scenario. And lastly, we will conclude this session by highlighting the key points covered in this presentation. So the most common problem we face in storing application password in UI automation are, it is not a best practice to store password as plain text in a flow variable, as the password will be visible in the logs of flow run instances. Other data sources like SQL, SharePoint list, Dataverse, these are not designed to store the secret or password. Password we are storing in a password protected Excel file that can also be easily hacked. And we have an option to store password in an encrypted variable. But the challenge is we need to manually update that flow in the live production when the password of that application is rotated or changed. So coming to the modern approach. So we have Azure Key Vault Credential Management repository that is considered as the safest and the securest place to store secrets or password. Azure Key Vault Credential feature supports storing application credential used in web and UI automation scenarios. So this feature allows us to rotate the password by retrieving the latest value at runtime, and we can store the password of application, underlying application that is used in UI or web automation. Additionally, credential can be reused by sharing them with other makers or user, and it supports ALM via environment variables. So benefits are quite obvious, like the primary benefit is to avoid editing desktop flow in live production environment on rotation of application password. It supports password rotation and thereby eliminate dependency on support team, reduces error rates and save time and money. The prerequisite for setting up the Azure Key Vault credentials are it is supported by desktop version 2.54 or higher. This feature is released in desktop version 2.554, and so it will be available in the higher version. The Power Platform environment and the Azure subscription must be in the same tenant. We have another prerequisite like Power Platform resource provider should be registered in the Azure subscription. I will show you when I will demonstrate you. The user should have the required access permission to add secret key Azure Key Vault repository and use those secret in Power Platform environment. Now I switch to the live demo. In this demo, I will use simple example of logging into the Postman app. So although this is not a automation UI automation scenario, but this is fair enough to understand the concept. So you can see I have a desktop flow. It just log into the Postman app, launches that in a new Edge browser. This is the first action. Then it just put the username, that is, you can see a hard code string. And then we have encrypted variable, that is the password that is used to log into this Postman application, web application. And then it will click on sign in button. So let me run this flow. So if you see here, the bot will first launch the login screen. Then it will first enter the username and the password, and it will log into the Postman application. So the drawbacks or the gray area is like if it is in a production environment, then every time someone changes the application password of this Postman, then we have to edit this flow. So that is not recommended for live production flow. So what we'll do, we will set up, we will first store the application password in Azure Key Vault repository. But before that, let me come back to the prerequisite. So one of the prerequisite like we have resource provider Power Platform should be registered with this Azure subscription. So if you see here, we have Microsoft Power Platform that is already registered in my Azure subscription. If it is not, then you will get this option to register. So this is the prerequisite. And then if I go back to the Key Vaults, I have already set up a Key Vault business app credential Key Vault, and you can see there is one secret, that is Postman app secret. So this secret contains the password of the Postman web application as a secret value. So what we'll do now, we will create a Azure Key Vaults credential in Power Automate environment. So before that, other prerequisite like, as I mentioned, we should have some required permission for a user to create the secrets, add secrets key, and then use in the Power Platform environment. So if I go to role assignment, you can see Manish is the owner of this Key Vault. So by owner, he can add a new password or can update the existing secrets of password. And then similarly, we have the Key Vault administrator who will take care of adding the keys, I mean secret or password, and update the existing keys, secret keys. Then two essential permission we have to give. One is the Dataverse application. So this has to be Azure, Key Vault secret user role permission. So this role is necessary, else you won't able to register this secret key into the Power Platform. And another one is the maker who is registering this secret in the Power Platform should also have a key vault secret user permission for this particular secret key. So coming back to the Power Automate portal, so we will first create a credential. If you don't find a credential in left navigation, no worries, click Discover All, and then we will go to credentials. So let's create a new credential. Postman app credential. Let's say community demo. Now if I click next, so you can see it supports three type of components. One is the connection, then the desktop flow, and the network. So we will use desktop flow for application password. So we'll check this desktop flow, and then we will select the Azure Key Vault from the credential store. On click next, so credential contains username and password. So these two strings or the part of the credential, username and password, will replace in the Power Automate desktop. So let me create a username. So display name, let's say Postman app username, and then value, let's pull it from the Power Automate flow. So I'm creating a new username. So behind the scene, these are basically the environment variable. So username is basically the text environment variable, or we can say single line of text. The password is a secret data type environment variable. So let's create a password also. So I will give a name as Postman app secret. Then so it will ask for subscription ID and other details from the Azure Key Vault repository. So we'll go to our Key Vault and we will copy these information and save it here. So subscription ID, save it here. Similarly, resource name, then Azure Key Vault name, Azure Key Vault name is this business app credentials. And then we have secret name. So secret name is the name of the secret key. So this is Postman secret. And this secret key contains the actual password of this Postman application. So I save this secret name and now I create a new password. So I have set up the Azure Key Vault credential and now I will save this. So my Azure Key Vault credential is set up. So the another benefit is I can share this with other makers and they can use in the other automation scenario. So we have access to use it, or the other person can use and share it, and we can make it as a co-owner. So below you can see we have two environment variable, one for the username and one for the password, that is of secret type. Yeah. Now our credential is set up. Now we will replace this with the out of box get credential action. So this will pull up the credential which we have just set up, Postman credential. And now let's say save it. And now I can replace this hard-coded string with the properties username and secret or password in this credential variable. So I will first replace the username. So in the variable I have username and password. So in the first, I will put the username, and then in the password, it is an encrypted one. So first change it to a text field, and then we'll use the password component of the script. Now this is the modern way of using the credential or managing the secrets of application used in the UI automation. Let's save it and run and test the results. Yeah. So if I run it, the same flow. Now take the username from the credential that is a part of that is an environment variable, and the password it is directly taking from the Azure Key Vault repository. Yeah. So this is how it runs locally. So let's try it from the cloud. So I have already created a cloud flow, and in cloud flow, I'm calling this desktop flow. So go to my flow. There's a cloud flow. It's a simple manually trigger cloud flow, and there's an action to call this desktop flow in attended mode on this same machine. So you can see now I run it. We will see how these credential values seen in the flow logs in the logs of the desktop flow if we trigger it from the cloud. So it will take some time to trigger the desktop flow from the cloud. So the flow has run. We'll go to the machine to see the see how the flow is running. Desktop flow is running. So if we see run queue, it is running, and it will take some seconds to trigger on this machine. Yeah. So now the flow runs from the cloud. It will use the same username and password from the credential. Yeah. And log into the particular application for doing the automation. Yeah. So if you see here, it will say take some time to finish the cloud flow. Yeah. So it is over. Now if I go to overview, you can see the flow has just ran successfully, and you can see the credential. It also show which credential we have used. So we have used this Postman app credential, and the usage is desktop flow. We have used for UI automation for storing the application password. Now checking the logs. So this get credential, let's see the input. So input we have credential ID. Now let's check the output. So you can see it is masking the value. We will not able to see the password or username from this credential. And similarly, if we check the other action, you can see this is also a sensitive or the mask value, and it is coming from credential. This is for username, and same we have for password. Yes, yeah. So this is how we can use this modern technique for our automation scenario. Now, if you want to go deeper into Azure Key Vault credential, I recommend to check out my 2 YouTube videos. In the first video, I cover the detailed step with end-to-end use case to rotate password for desktop flow connection, and while the second one covers the rotating application password for web and UI automation scenarios. So to summarize, in this demo, we have seen how we can use Azure Key Vault repository and the Azure Key Vault credential in storing the application password securely, and it helps in editing it avoids editing the desktop flow in the production environment, and it has certain benefits like it reduces the error rate, save time and money, and allow us to rotate password. So in the end, I would like to conclude by thanking everyone for patiently listening to me. I hope you found this session useful. Thank you.
Excellent work, Manish. Thank you so much. Really, really great to see how you set all that up end to end, and how we can take advantage of all the different ways in which we can automate things. So really, really cool. Huge shout out and thank you to all of our presenters today. Valentin, Kamil, first timer, by the way, again, and Manish. Thank you, all of you, for being willing to come on the call and share your passions with the community. So let's wrap it up. We got some resources. Since you're on this call, you probably like the calls. We hope you do. There are more of them. We've got our weekly Microsoft 365 and Power Platform community call by Microsoft speakers. This usually goes on break, but starting in July and August, we are community taking it over. So we're going to be spotlighting a lot of those SharePoint hackathon entries, as well as the Powerful Devs entries and all of that. So keep that on your calendar. That will not be going on a break. We're on a break. No, we're not. Power Platform Monthly, which you're on right now, Office add-ins. And then, of course, we've got our two bi-weekly sibling calls, Microsoft 365 and Power Platform Community, which is tomorrow, and our Viva Connections and SharePoint Framework. Those are always on Thursday. You can get the recurring invites at ak.ms/community/calls. Speaking of that next call on Tuesday, Matthew Barber will be back talking about multi-agent patterns. Fabian will be with us talking about Copilot Retrieval API. And the one and only Kate, who we love dearly, is going to be showing off Term Buddy, your AI-powered terminology assistant, Powerful Devs hackathon winner. So we look forward to that. That is on Tuesday, the 24th. So tune in. We've also got our Discord server. If you want to tell your kids that you're cool and you're on Discord, wow them, wowee! They will be so proud of mom and dad, so let them know. We would love to have you in there. It is absolutely free. We got almost 2,900 members now, actually, so feel free to join that. We've got some fun things in store there, and we would love to get some feedback if this call is going well, or these calls, or if there's areas in which you'd like to see improvements. We just ask you to please keep it positive, but we're always looking to improve upon things. With that, the recording will be available within 24 hours. If Teams tells you the recording is available for you to download, it is not. It is a pretty little liar. But you can get immediate access to the call as soon as it's available. ak.ms/community/YouTube on our YouTube channel. Subscribe, smash that like and subscribe button, and we will let you know as soon as it's available. You can also follow us at the socials, LinkedIn, Blue Sky, Twitter/X. The next call will be July 16th, the third Wednesday within July, so we look forward to that. Thank you again for all of you attending, being amazing, watching on demand, whatever you're doing in the community. We love you, and we appreciate all that you're doing. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Have a wonderful rest of your day and a wonderful rest of the week. We'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.